Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that you're here with me. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about an embarrassing story, and it's actually a funny story that happened to me. And it just goes to show you that pediatrics is really a lot of fun. I've dedicated my life to taking care of kids. If you're a parent who likes to listen to issues about kids' health, please take a moment and subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed already. And also make sure that you like and share the channel with your family and friends. So, a lot of times kids and parents will ask me, how do I like being a pediatrician? Well, I'll tell you, I absolutely love it. There are a lot of things we do in life that later on we think back and say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have done this, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But there hasn't been one day that I haven't woken up excited about doing what I'm doing. So I really enjoy it. And I want to let you know that pediatrics is a lot more than just medicine, dealing with kids, dealing with parents. And there are a lot of funny stories that happen and lots of good moments. So I want to share with you one time that I saw a child and she did not let me off the hook. Now, just the day before that visit, I was helping my wife. She asked me to help her dye her hair. She had got this really dark jet black hair dye, and I have never really used hair dyes before, so I don't know how they work, but she needed help in dyeing her hair. And I said, of course, honey, I'm going to help you. And so I looked through the box, I opened up the instructions, read all the instructions, and folded inside the paper instructions are these disposable plastic gloves. You're supposed to put the gloves on so that your hands stay clean. And I did so. I followed the instructions. I put the gloves on, and they fit pretty tightly. And I mixed up the chemicals just the way it said on the instructions. And my wife was kind of carefully also reviewing what I'm doing to make sure that her hair doesn't turn purple or something. And so we took our time to mix up the different hair dye chemicals and used a comb and put the dye in her hair. All the while, I had gloves on. I was protected. This really dark black dye that was going to make her hair jet black can also, I guess, dye your skin. And so the gloves are meant to protect you from that. So after all the process was done, after all the hair was colored, I made sure all the areas of the hair were evenly covered with the dye. I was done. And as I looked at my hands, I noticed there was a rip in the gloves right here on both sides because the gloves were too small for my hands. And the gloves weren't really all that flexible. So as I am dyeing her hair and moving my hands around, they both had rips right over here by my thumb and the forefinger. And I thought to myself, oh shoot, I wonder if the dye went in. So I took the gloves off, and sure enough, there was dark black discoloration on my hands on both sides, like a circle on both sides. And I rushed to the sink and I washed my hands and used soap and water, and nothing would make that dye come off. And tomorrow I was going to be working at the office. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, how am I going to be explaining this to my families at the office? And so next day came around, and I was hoping the color would be gone, but no, it was not gone. It was still very dark on both my hands, jet black, and it was very apparent that there was a problem here. So I went to work. And when I was at work, I was seeing patients, and every time I would see patients, I, of course, wash my hands in the sink before I see somebody. And as I get done, I try to keep my hands like this as I'm talking with the parents and talking with the families, and as I'm checking out the kids. So my thumbs are kind of covering up the dark area like this, and as I would walk and talk, I'd be like this sometimes, or I'd be like this sometimes, just so the families couldn't see the discoloration that I had. I'm sure some of the parents and some of the kids noticed that, and they thought there was something majorly wrong. And so up comes Sally, 4-year-old, who was going to be my next patient that I was going to see. And I went to the room, introduced myself to the parents, and Sally said hi to them. And Sally immediately took notice of my hands, although I walked in like this. And Sally's looking at my hands, really carefully kind of tracking them around. I'm noticing that, and I'm not trying to look at Sally because I don't want to try to make her have more attention on my hands. And I walked to the sink, and I wash my hands, and slowly I come back to my chair as I'm sitting down. Sally speaks up. She goes, "Doctor, why'd you wash your hands?" I said, "Oh, I washed my hands so my hands are clean and there's no germs on the hands." And she thought for a moment, carefully thinking, carefully looking at my hands as I'm trying to hide the discoloration by making my hands into like a little fist. She didn't let it go. She said, "Doctor, did you wash your hands well?" And she didn't let it go. She said, "Doctor, did you wash your hands well?" And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she is not letting me go. I said, "Oh, Sally, I washed my hands really well. I use soap and water, so my hands are clean when I check you out." She thought about it for a moment, looked at me. She goes, "But doctor, your hands are so dirty." And I said, "Oh my gosh. Okay, Sally, so here's what happened." And I went through the story of dyeing my wife's hair with Sally and their parents. I thought Sally was going to be pretty upset about it, and her parents weren't going to be all that happy about being looked at by me with all the dark discoloration on my hands, because I thought they'd be thinking I had something contagious. Because I thought they'd be thinking I had something contagious. So I told Sally, I said, "Sally, I just want to let you know, this is what happened. Here's all the dark color here." So and she said, "Doctor, but your hands are so dirty." And oh my gosh, I could not believe it. So I had to tell the story of my wife and the hair dye from beginning to end to Sally and her parents. I had to let them know that this is what happened, and I just want to let you know that this dark discoloration is not contagious. So there you have it. Sally embarrassed me. She caught me. She did not let me go. I wonder if you guys have had experiences like this also. I bet you have. And if you have, please take a moment and share that in the comments. I would love to hear some of your experiences also. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again very soon on one of the next videos. Take care. Bye-bye.